don't get in, under no circumstances get in. It's post-match pint with Jay McKenna, with Phil Blundell, after Liverpool have dropped points at home to Tottenham Hotspur. There's all the obvious bits and pieces you've got to go through around them not winning, Jay. Which is to talk about various little bits and pieces, but there is something else, tactical stuff, selection stuff, substitution stuff, but there's something else, which is to say, you just can't always win. You can't keep winning every single week playing elite sport, in almost any sport. At some point you do just not win one. And it felt to me a little bit of a distance out tonight. At about 35, I did begin to wonder, is this going to be one of the ones Liverpool just don't win?
Yeah, we seemed very, very frantic. And in the beginning of the second half, we got very, very frantic, very fucking quickly. The crowd didn't help that, but we just had spaces all over the gaff. We were chasing like it was for the league today. Like it was for the league. And I think just, I thought Liverpool felt like a bit of a juggernaut in the past few weeks and felt like we knew what we were doing. Tonight it kind of looked like a bit like the lads were like, oh shit, I need to put my foot on the pedal a bit, and like there was just not that much there, and that's hard. Tottenham, they haven't had midweek, they haven't had what we've had to deal with. They've just been able to turn up, knowing what they're going to expect from Liverpool, knowing what they're going to expect from the crowd, and knowing that a point for them is a good result. A draw at Anfield for them in their challenge in the league for top four is a good result. And they've turned up, bit of a plan. We've looked a bit mad at times, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but you can't win all the games. Tottenham are a good team, Tottenham are a top four team. Looking out, we've been beaten by worse teams. Man City have been beaten by worse teams, and we'll be beaten by better teams. That's just how it is. We're going to have to live with it. We are where we are now. In this title race, and there's still a bit to go.
Strong, we're going to have to live with it for McKenna, as though there was an alternative, as though we could ask to do it again. If we could do it again, do you think he'd do anything different from the outset? Because that's one of the things here. I think we all saw the team, and I refuse to believe. If anyone wants to, by all means, text in. If you saw the team and you were like, well, I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done this. I think everyone sees the team. Do you think in hindsight he might think, I wish I'd gone with this, I wish we'd approached this a little differently? Or do you think he's going to go to bed tonight going, listen, it's one of them, I've been in football long enough to know sometimes you're going to get one, we'll pick the bones out of it tomorrow?
So I think if he'd known they weren't going to be quite as heavy on the counter, because I thought they were a lot more negative than I expected in terms of, I was basically expecting them to try and win the ball and all of a sudden spin us and over the top. And that's why I think Canate played.
Yeah.
And if he'd have known they were going to be less aggressive than they were in that element, I think he'd have played Matip. And it kind of comes into it with the goal, because the goal basically comes from Canate heading it back into the middle of the park when he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
When we're still reset from a set piece.
It's a twat of a header, frankly.
Trent's in the wrong place, Robertson's in the wrong place. I mean, Robertson's done that thing where he gets 5 yards deeper than everybody else. I don't think he was necessarily wrong to do it, but he's a lot deeper than everybody else for Sessegnon to get the ball back over. Trent loses Kane really bad. It's really poor how he all of a sudden, Harry Kane's on the edge of the box in 5 yards of space, and it's really bad. That's the only thing I think he probably would have done differently. The rest of it, I think, was fine. I think we possibly lost our heads earlier than we needed to. There was a lot of those fucking annoying aimless crosses from deep, which is a sign of Liverpool being frustrated from 5 years ago, and it's something we've completely eliminated, and it was back today and it was very annoying. But sometimes, as you've said, you're allowed to just not win.
I want to do the cross thing because I'll end up talking about it all over the place. It strikes me that Liverpool had a plan to play clipped balls.
Yeah.
And they clipped fucking none of them.
Exactly.
Twatted every single one.
And that's what I mean. There's like a fine line between a clip ball and a cross. Yeah. Like one man's clip balls and another man's cross.
Again, that was the desperation for me. It just felt like we just lost some of our technical proficiency. We are very, very good footballers, and we just stopped being good at some of that stuff. Now, Tottenham didn't make that easy, but we just stopped being good at some of it. And them crosses were an example of that. But there was even at the end there was one from Thiago, there's one from Trent that Lloris catches I think it's in the last 7 or 8 minutes. And they're just to no one. They're hit and hope. They're what teams do when they have run out of ideas, and that was too early for us to run out of ideas. We just kept whacking them. And not even to necessarily the players that were going to win headers. I think Tsimikas was winning headers.
But I think they had the idea. So there's the one where Henderson wins it back post, nods it back in, and then it's both good defending and lucky defending. He's off balance and he just gets a little thing to it.
Hello Reds, thanks for watching that taster of the post-match pint. If you want to watch the rest of that video, really easy to watch it right here on YouTube. Just click the join button below. That activates the membership. It gives you access to the Anfield Wrap's premium videos, which includes the post-match pint, but also reviews, previews, exclusive interviews, and it means you can follow us, follow them from here, the heart of Liverpool.